Hello, folks. It's Elaine Frey's Farm Family Coach coming to you with a session on making marriage work on your farm. And I have a heart in my hand, lovely gift from my brother many years ago, because while I'm recording this, it's February and it's Heart Month. And you can't see it, but I have a shirt that says love, love, love. And on the bottom, it says always, which is not, of course, the way life works. Sometimes we're not happy with our spouses or our partners. But a reason I wrote this blog and this insight this month on making marriage work is because many marriages are not working. Many marriages are just drifting along, and many marriages are about to go sideways. And I don't want that to happen in your family. So it's about being intentional and being able to share your heart. So the first encouragement comes from John Gottman's work, 7 Principles of Making Marriage Work. And he says, share your love maps. When you choose to spend your life with someone, you hand them a map to your inner world. And your inner world, of course, is quite complex, including the memories of your past, the details of your present, and your hope for the future. It includes your deepest fears and your grandest dreams, says Gottman. So I want to encourage you about talking this month with your spouse about what a good day looks like to you on the farm as you age in place and your health shifts. And what are you looking forward to in this next year? And 3 or 4 times a week, are you checking in with each other? And the Marriage Course with Alpha talks about even spending an hour every Thursday night at your coffee table with a good cup of coffee and the TV off, just talking about the state of your union, and ask how the other person is feeling. Dr. Gary Chapman has written a best-selling, million-copy-selling book called The 5 Love Languages. And this is book, I think, that should be required reading for most people. My love language is words of affirmation. I just got some today on LinkedIn from a fellow who's considering farm transition. He says, Elaine, keep going. You're doing good work, and it's important work to do. Well, that'll keep my bucket filled for at least 3 or 4 days. And Mark Twain said you can live on one good compliment for at least 3 months. So words are important. And my encouragement today is, are you speaking words of affirmation and meaning to your spouse? Now, your spouse may not care so much about words of affirmation. They may want to have meaningful touch, gifts, or even just quality time in your presence. So my husband doesn't want a card. He wants acts of service, which is doing things for him that make him feel deeply loved. So I wrote a blog a long time ago called How to Love Your Farmer, which created a little bit of a kerfluffle, but it's for both male and female farmers, so it works both ways. And I am in a traditional role model of farming, but you may not be, and that's okay. Different is not wrong. It's just different. But the key here is to nurture each other and find out how they feel affirmed. The other thing is you want to lean in and turn toward each other and not turn away. And you know that when things are a little bit tense, you might be rolling to the edge of the bed, backs facing each other and not leaning towards each other. So ask for permission and time and space to get reconnected again and say, do you want to talk about this now? Or do you want to talk about it after supper? But don't let it just keep drifting away and away. And watch your tone of voice and how you do that as well. Another point that Gottman talks about is to let your partner influence you. And I was at the Stronger Together conference in Fort Benton, Montana in November, and Leslie Kelly was there, which was lovely. She's High Heels and CanolaFields.com. And she was talking about how she and her husband use a numbering system to check in on each other, with 2 not being very good and 10 being great. And it's a great idea to have some kind of system as a couple or even on your farm team, to have a very numerical way of measuring where you are in the scale of feeling good and feeling connected. And if you want to learn more about this system, you can go to Michael Pantalon's book called Instant Influence. And it's a tool we use quite often in coaching on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being really ready. How ready are you to do the next thing? And if you say 2 and your partner says 10, then you know you have a gap that you need to start negotiating. Solve your solvable problems. Some of the challenges are polarities in your marriage that are never going to go away, that are always going to be managed. And that would be parenting. You work and you play and you plan and you act. These are all kinds of issues that are never really done, but always have to be managed. So it's a dance on the work on your farm, and the need for family time and playtime will never totally be solved, but it needs to be attacked and addressed with really creative solutions that give you time to grow and time to give you attention to your work. So, what solutions are you both willing to create? How can you employ a set of fresh eyes to see options for a different way of being and doing things? And maybe it's time to hire an outside objective third party like a facilitator or a coach that can help you get some new action steps in place. Now, there's another thing that Gottman talks about, and he calls it gridlock. And gridlock is when you're really stuck. And he also uses the term make quick repair. So in conflict resolution, don't let small pinch points and tensions grow and grow and grow and grow, because then you're going to have a hard time figuring out what the solution is going to be because it's gone on for so long. We have an online assessment on our team called the Conflict Dynamic Profile that will help you really get to the internal pieces of what the way is you're wired towards creating solutions, reaching out, adapting, and ensuring your emotions to resolve conflict. So it helps you also to understand what your hot buttons are. And my hot buttons are people who won't talk to me and people who are unreliable. So that's been helpful for how I operate. And the last point is to create shared meaning together, rituals of connection, like how you start your day. Perhaps you always have a cup of coffee together. I have one girlfriend whose husband always brought her a cup of tea in bed, and that made her feel really deeply loved because she was not a morning person. But what are we doing to create rituals around our roles, our life goals, and what's really important to us, which is our values? So I'm curious, when's the last time that you sat down as a couple to talk about what currently gives your life purpose and meaning? And in Proverbs 13:12, it says, hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a longing fulfilled is a tree of life. So I hope you have good things to anticipate this year as a couple. If you don't, start thinking about what that would look like and connection with your family, your friends, and your neighbors. And what are you celebrating? Because strong families communicate, strong families connect, and strong families are part of the community. I'm Elaine Fraze, hoping you are willing now to have some of these action steps in place to make marriage work on your farm. We'll see you next time.